measurement we saw, we try to measure attributes, we try to measure units, we try to measure figures, right? And to make it a continuum, we use scale. Scale, as I told you earlier, you used to uh, see 6 inches scale in your geometry box, but then this is a different type of scale which helps you to record the respondents answers and code it in a different manner. We have seen 4 types of levels of measurement. That was the first one, nominal, ordinal. Then you remember 4 types yesterday we saw? Nominal, ordinal. Nominal, no difference, only 1-2 codification was there, male, female, yes, no, such type of answers. Ordinal, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 was there, but then the difference between 1 and 2, 2 and 3 was not known to us. That is ordinal. Then the third type, interval scale, where the difference between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is known, and that is equidistance. But natural zero is absent in case of interval. And the last one is ratio scale. Ratio scale, natural zero exists. Let us see this now. Classification of scales. That was levels of measurement. Now it is classification of scales. Scales, we have seen whenever we put the continuum to record the responses, we say it is a scale. Single item versus multiple item scale. In a single item, there is only one item to be measured in a given construct. Only one item we are trying to measure. But in multiple item scale, there are many items that play a role in forming the underlying construct that the researcher is trying to measure. This is because each of the item forms some part of the construct which the researcher is trying to measure. So multiple and single. Single means any one sort of response, say your syllabus is completed or not, and the option is given yes, no. Whereas in multiple, there are different, it's a form of a Google form, say, and there are so many questions asked. So multiple item scale. Now, under this, we need to see comparative and non-comparative scales. So scaling techniques, there are 2 types, comparative and non-comparative. Comparative, there are again 4 subtypes, that is paired comparison, constant sum, rank order, Q-sort, and procedures. Check this. Paired comparison, constant sum, rank order, and Q-sort. Whereas for non-comparative, there are 2 subtypes, graphic rating scale and itemized rating scale. Under itemized, you might have heard the name Likert scale, semantic scale, and staple. Likert scale, semantic scale, and staple. It is itemized rating scale. There are 2 subtypes under non-comparative, graphical and itemized. Let us see each one in detail, because henceforth, for a data collection, you need to prepare a questionnaire. Today, if possible, we will check how to prepare a questionnaire. So we need to check a questionnaire, and while preparing a questionnaire, what sort of scales we are going to use. Why? Because it is important to understand different types of scales. So what sort of scales you are going to use, and how you will use it, and where you will use it, for which questions you will use different scales. We'll start with comparative scales. Let's see this again. We are starting with comparative scales. There are 4 types: paired, constant sum, rank order, and Q-sort, right? So please remember this: paired, constant sum, rank order, and Q-sort. Comparative scale. In comparative scale, it is assumed that respondent make use of standard frame of reference before answering the question. Now check the example. Please rate Domino's in comparison to Pizza Hut on the basis of your satisfaction level. 11-point scale is this. So variety of menu options of Domino's to Pizza Hut. So first is extremely poor and 11 is extremely good, and circle your response. So rate Domino's in comparison to Pizza Hut. So Domino, whether it is better or not. Value of money, speed of services, promotion offers, food quality, brand name, and all other attributes are given. See, all these attributes we cannot measure in terms of numbers. That's why we have developed a scale, right? Please try and understand. We have developed a scale. We will be trying to understand if you say variety of menu options or value for the money in Domino's is very high, but what that very high means, how you are going to put it in terms of words, sorry, numbers, and how you are going to measure it. If 10 respondents says very high, the answer very high may vary. Like if I am saying very high, I may mean 9 points. But if someone else is saying very high, he or she may means 10, 5, 6, 8, and so on. So try and understand. To avoid this consistency has to be there. We need to check on a particular scale so that we get a unique answers. Comparative scale. Now, formats of comparative scales, as we said, there are 4 types: paired comparison scales. Already we have seen paired one, that is between Domino's and Pizza. Rank order scale, example 10 serial ranks. We'll check constant sum rating scale and Q-sort technique. So paired comparison means a scale is given to you and you are trying to compare between Domino's and Pizza, maybe between 2 different brands product. Paired comparison scaling is comparative scaling technique wherein respondent is shown 2 objects at the same time and is asked to select one according to defined criteria. 2 products are shown to you, 2 different brand products are shown, and we try and understand the likes. The resulting data are ordinal in nature. What do you mean by ordinal? What do you mean by ordinal? If you remember, this scale depends on ordinal, or the base is ordinal, where the difference between 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4 is not known. That exact difference between the numbers are not known. A paired comparison scaling is often used when the stimulus objects are physical objects. Objects will be kept in front of you or maybe in front of respondents, and you will ask. See, you can use this for your own marketing, research, your own company's marketing research. Any product of your company, you will compare it with competitors, and then you may ask questions. So you will come to know how much the respondent like your product. Comparison data so obtained can be analyzed in either of the ways. Whatever answers we get, comparison data, we may check or we may analyze the data maybe in the form of percentage of respondents who prefer one object over another by adding the matrices for each respondent divided by sum by the number of respondents and then multiplying it by 100. The way we take out percentage, there are 6 subjects. So 6 subjects means you will all marks of all 6 subjects divided by 6 into 100. If you do, you get the percentage. Through this method, all the stimulus objects can be evaluated simultaneously. Assumption of transitivity. What is transitivity? Which implies that if brand X is preferred to brand Y and brand Y is to brand Z, then brand X is preferred to brand Z. It is assumed. Say there are 3 different products. A is better than B, B is better than C. So it is assumed that A is better than C. You need not compare A with C, right? To determine the rank order, the researcher identifies the number of items the object is preferred by adding up all the matrices. Paired comparison scales method is effective when the number of objects is limited because it requires a direct comparison. and with a large number of stimulus objects, the comparison becomes cumbersome. Also, if there is a violation of assumption of transitivity in order in which the objects are placed, may be bias the result. See, a very important thing they have said, uh, when we use paired comparison, this method is really very effective. What we do is the number of questions must not be very large. It should be restricted. And now why it should be restricted? Why? Because it becomes cumbersome. If you as a respondent, if you see there are 6 pages of questionnaire which you need to respond, the moment you look at those 6 pages, you will say, oh my God, it will take a lot of time. And then immediately you will back out from the filling of questionnaire. Let us see this example. This is a comparative scaling technique in which a respondent is presented with 2 objects at a time and asked to select one object according to some criteria. The data obtained are ordinal in nature. Again, data is ordinal. There are 4 types of cold drinks: Coke, Pepsi, Sprite, Limca. The respondent can prefer Pepsi to Coke, Coke to Sprite, and so on. So Coke to Pepsi, Coke to Sprite, Coke to Limca, Pepsi, Sprite, Pepsi, Limca, Sprite, Limca. So inter comparisons are there. Try this Coke. Sorry, yeah. Check this. So which cold drink is preferred most? Between Coke to Pepsi, you're preferring Pepsi. Between Sprite and Coke, you will prefer Coke. Between Sprite and Pepsi, you will prefer Pepsi. Limca, again, Coke, Pepsi, and Sprite over Limca. So number of times it is preferred. Limca is not at all preferred. Coke is preferred 2 times. Pepsi is preferred 3, and Sprite 1. So which one is the best cold drink? Which is the best cold drink?
Pepsi.
Pepsi.
Yes, Pepsi. Yes. And the worst, we may say worst. Why? Because the results are showing. We are not biased here. It is not my intuition that I am saying Limca is not good. But the results are saying Limca is not good. So paired comparison scale. This is first type under comparative scaling, paired one. Second is rank order scaling. Now, this is another type of comparative scaling technique in which respondents are presented with several items simultaneously. Till now, we were saying 2, 3 items. Now, several items simultaneously and asked to rank them in order of priority. आपको 10 आइटम्स दिखा दिए जाएंगे और आपको कहा जाएगा कि इसको रैंकिंग कीजिए. और there are 10 students in a class, or maybe a mob of 10 people are there, and you need to rank them according to some characteristic. This is again an ordinal scale. Please remember all 4 types of level of measurements. आपको याद है क्या? Any time you will be asked, आपको उसका use इसके बाद करना ही पड़ेगा. The moment I say ordinal, you should understand what ordinal scale is. That describes and favored the unfavored. That describes the favored and unfavored objects, but does not reveal the distance between the objects. मतलब मुझे कोक पेप्सी पसंद है, कोक अगेंस्ट कोक, आई लाइक लिम्का अगेंस्ट कोक, बट इनके बीच का जो डिफरेंस है वो मुझे पता नहीं, मैं सिर्फ उनको रैंक्स दे रहा हूँ, right? That's why it is called as ordinal scale. Now the resultant data in rank order is ordinal data. This yields better results when direct comparison are required between the given objects. The major disadvantage of this technique is that only ordinal data can be generated. This is second type. First, we have already seen paired comparison. Now, second is rank order. Rank order, again, read this. Preference of cold drink brands using rank order scaling. Rank the following brands of cold drinks in order of preference. Begin by picking out the one brand you like most and assign it number 1. Then find the second most preferred and assign it number 2. Continue this procedure until you have ranked all brands of cold drinks in order of preferences. The last preferred brand should be assigned a rank 4 because only 4 brands are there. You may put 10 also. Also remember, no two brands receive the same rank order. So already instructions are given and you have prepared a question. So Coke 3, rank 3, Pepsi rank 1, Limca 2, and Sprite 4. You may have different choices. All the students attending this session may have different choices, and then you try and compare. How many of them say Pepsi as 1? How many of them say Pepsi as 2? And so on. And which is the best brand? So out of this, you get the data, and then you try and analyze the data. This is which type? Rank order. Now the third one is constant sum scale. Constant sum scale. I repeat, there are two different types: comparative scale. Comparative, you are giving two options at a time: Coke Pepsi, Coke Sprite, Coke Limca. Whereas in rank order, so many at a time, maybe 10 items at a time, and you are trying to rank it. Here you are not ranking them. You are just saying whether which is preferred, whether Coke or Pepsi, whether Coke over Limca, whether Pepsi over Limca, Pepsi over Sprite, and so on. Rank order, only ranks are given. Constant sum scale. Why we are studying in detail? Because this time the exams are in the form of MCQs. So they may put a advantage of any one of these, and they may ask you which type of scale is used here. So you need to remember the names. In this scale, constant sum scale, the respondents are asked to allocate a constant sum of units, such as points, rupees, or chips, among a set of stimulus objects with respect to some criteria. Now, what exactly it is, do not worry, let us see. For example, you may wish to determine how important the attributes of price, fragrance, packing, cleaning power, and lather of detergent are to the customers. Different characteristics of a product we are saying. So whether price, fragrance, packing, cleaning power, leather, which one you prefer the most while purchasing the soap or detergent. Respondent might be asked to divide a constant sum to indicate the relative importance of the attributes. The advantage of this technique is time saving. Main advantage are respondents may allocate more or fewer points than those specified. The second problem is respondent might get confused. इसके disadvantage है, confuse हो सकते हैं, right? And first is इसमें हम लोग ज़्यादा या कम points दे सकते हैं. So that may create a problem. That may increase the confusion. Example, just check this. 100 points you need to allocate for these 5 attribute of detergent. Price, you give 15 points. Fragrance, you give only 5 points. Packaging, 10. Cleaning power, 30. And lather, 5. Total is 100. The more points an attribute receives, the more important the attribute is. If an attribute is not at all important, assign it 0 point. So you may put 0 on fragrance also. If an attribute is twice as important as some other attribute, it should receive twice as many points. So if you want to say price is twice important than packaging, then if price is 50, packaging should be 25. Constant sum scale. This is third type, constant sum scale. Under comparative. The last one, Q-sort. This is comparative scale that uses a rank order procedure to sort objects based on similarity with respect to some criteria. Now we are talking about sorting of the product. The important characteristics of this methodology is that it is more important to make comparison among different responses. It is more important to make comparison among different responses of a respondent than the responses between the respondent. It is comparative method of scaling rather than an absolute rating scale. In this method, the respondent is given statements in large number of describing characteristics of a product or a large number of brands of a product. Read this. A bag given to you contains picture of 90 magazines. Please choose 10 magazines you prefer most, 20 magazines you like, 30 magazines to which you are neutral, 20 magazines you dislike, 10 magazines you prefer least. Please list the sorted magazine names in the respective columns of the form provided to you. So you are trying to sort according to the given criteria, and the criteria is prefer most, like, neutral, dislike, prefer least, right? This is a scale. This is a scale they have used, and they have told you 10 best, 20 like, 30 neutral, 20 dislike, and prefer least 10. So magazines available in the market, you please sort them out, and that's why this method is called as Q sort method. Q sort method. Before starting non-comparative, let us see once again all the 4 examples which we have seen till now, right? Paired comparison, we are trying to compare between the 2 brands, any 2 brands, or maybe list of brands, but then inter comparison will be there. At a time we will compare only 2 products here. Paired comparison. Rank order, you will compare or you will rank all the competing products at a time. So ranking will tell us which one is the best in the market. Paired ranking. Constant sum mein you need to allocate some points to it, right? And those points will be attributed to the characteristics of a product. 100 points you need to allocate to different characteristics of a given product. This helps a marketing company to understand which attribute affects the customer most, or what is the interest of a customer, whether customer is looking for a price, whether customer is looking for fragrance, packaging, cleaning power, or lather. Lather means the foam which comes out while using the detergent or any soap. This helps marketing company to understand which attribute is most important while buying the product, or customer tries to understand, or customer tries to check while buying the product. So for this particular product, price is most important. So you need to reduce the price of a product, then and then your product will be sold out more in the market, right? But in this case means rank order scaling, which brand is important. So you can understand if your brand is Limca, then you are second in the market, and you need to form the strategies to jump from second to first. So you will start comparing your and Pepsi's characteristics, like what all Pepsi is giving, how their product is, and how my product, that is Limca, is there. So how I'll jump from 2 to 1. So you start forming, but at least you come to know out of 4 products, out of 4 similar products, homogeneous product, you are number 2 in the market and not the market leader. If you want to become a market leader, you need to work very hard. And then again, different questions are asked to understand which characteristics or which attribute you need to work on. You sort at a time, so many brands at a time, so many, say 100 magazines are available, you put all 100, or you tell the customer or you tell the respondent to put all the 100 brands in different categories on different scale. On different scale, the scale maybe preferred most likely, neutral, less dislike, preferred least, and then numbers are given. So in this case, if your magazine, your company's magazine, or say maybe you are working in Nelson research organization, then you may understand that these 10 are preferred most, the first one, and these are preferred least. So if any company who has given you the task to tell them how my magazine is doing, and if that magazine comes under preferred list, then you need to tell them why it is least. First of all, you will give them a report that your magazine comes under least preferred magazine, and then how to improve the sales, how to improve the contents, that you need to tell to the organization. So we have seen 4 different types of comparative scale. Now let us jump to non-comparative scale. Non-comparative scale, we have already seen that chart. There are 2 types: graphical and itemized rating scale. Now in non-comparative scales, the respondent do not make use of any frame of reference before answering the questions. So no frame is used here. Now the first type, that is graphical rating scale. This is a continuous scale, and the respondent is asked to tick his preference on a graph. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now 7 scale graphical rating is used. You need to put tick on any number, and maybe say you are selling any product, maybe any cloth, maybe shirts or t-shirts you are selling in the market. Your company is manufacturing t-shirts and you are selling it, and when this questionnaire is given to the customer while leaving the shop, he may put a tick mark on least preferred or most preferred, right? So your representative is there outside a particular shop where your brand t-shirts are also sold, and you may get the answer. But this is a graphical rating. If you get a rating at 6 or 7, then your t-shirt or your brand is preferred most. But if you are getting below 4, then you need to really work hard on your product. This is again graphical. Please put a tick mark on the following to indicate your preference for fast food, whether you like fast food or not. Most of you will definitely say 5, 6. Alternative presentation of graphical rating. Now smileys are also used. Please indicate. Many times such type of rating you have already done. You have already done on your mobile handsets also. Whenever you download an app, they ask you rate the app. So they give you scale, or many times these type of smileys are used. If you say 4, it means neutral. But if you are touching at 6, it means you are really happy with the particular app. Clear to all? This is graphic. Graphic, again a part of non-comparative scale. Graphic, non-comparative scale. Now, the second subtype, itemized rating scale. Itemized rating scale. In the itemized rating scale, the respondents are provided with scale that has number of brief descriptions associated with each of the response categories. There are certain issues that should be kept in mind while designing the itemized rating scale. Now, at this point, you should ask me a question, or you will be thinking that why we are studying all these types. See, after studying all these types of scales, we need to prepare a questionnaire. Now, according to your question, according to your requirement, you will frame a question. Now, how to frame a question, that we will see later on. That is questionnaire formation part. But to prepare a questionnaire, you should understand all types of scaling available with us. Then and then you will be able to get the appropriate answer to your problem. Which problem I am saying? You remember management dilemma? Management is in a dilemma, or you are a police head of Pune city, and the problem is of traffic. So how you will resolve the traffic problem in Pune city, or maybe how you will reduce the crime rate in Pune city. So those type of problems are there. To gather the data, you need to prepare a questionnaire, and to prepare a questionnaire, you should understand all these types of scale. That's why we have seen comparative, non-comparative. Comparative, again, we have seen 4 types. Under non-comparative, there are 2 types, graphic and itemized. Under itemized, we will see different types, but then let us see what it is. Number of categories to be used, we need to understand odd or even number of categories, balanced versus unbalanced scales, nature and degree of verbal description, focus versus forced versus non-forced scales, physical form. So we need to keep these designing styles in our mind while preparing the or while you preparing the questionnaire and while using different types. First one is Likert scale, a very famous rating scale, itemized rating scale. The respondents are given a certain numbers of items on which they are asked to express their degree of agreement or disagreement. Agreement or disagreement. This is also called summative scale because the scores on individual items can be added together to produce a total number of scale for the respondents. Before understanding this in detail, let us see the example first and then we will go back. This is most appropriate method. See, Likert scale is given. Strongly disagree, disagree, neither agree nor disagree, agree and strongly agree. So the statements will be given. The statements will be given to the respondents. The company makes quality product. No, neither agree nor disagree. It is a leader in technology. Strongly agree. It doesn't care about general public. Disagree. The company leads in R&D to improve products. Agree. The company has not done anything to curb pollution. Disagree. The company does not have good labor relationship. Disagree. So these types of statements are given and Likert scale responses are recorded. And Likert scale here, strongly disagree means 1, disagree means 2, neither agree nor disagree 3, agree 4, and strongly agree 5. While noting down or while coding the responses, we'll use numbers. But again, try and understand this is which type? This is which type? It is based on ordinal scale. It is based on ordinal scale because we don't know strongly disagree and disagree difference or difference between disagree and neither agree and not disagree. So the difference between the two, we are not aware of that. This is Likert scale. An assumption of Likert scale is that each item statements measure some aspect of single common factor. Otherwise, the scores on the items cannot legitimately be summed up. So each characteristics we need to put. The typical research study, there are generally 25 to 30 items on a Likert scale, 25 to 30 questions we may ask, and the responses we will record. But then this type of, please understand, this type of questionnaires will be circulated to thousands of respondents. 30 questions, each respondent is responding. So 30 into thousands, maybe 1,000 if you say, it becomes 30,000 responses. 30,000 responses you need to analyze. And then you will come out with some good alternatives. Second, first one is Likert scale, second one is semantic. Semantic again, let us go directly to the example and then we will go back what semantic is. In this, we try and use bipolar statements. Bipolar statement means two extreme statements. In this, check number 1, makes good quality product, does not make good quality product. It is extremely positive, extremely negative. Leader in technology, backward in technology. Does not care about general public, cares about general public. Not good paymaster, a good paymaster. And here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 scale is given. This is neutral. This is neutral means you are with both the companies or both the statements. Make good quality product and does not make good quality product. But if you tick here, then you are saying does not make good quality product. But for this, if you tick here in third, does not care about general public, cares about a general public. So this means this tick on second box. Can you see this? Can you see the cursor?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so does not care about general public. If I tick on second, it means this statement, I'm favoring this. So this is semantic type. This is semantic type of scaling. And then what we do is we try and join all the responses. We try and join all the responses and we get this type of graph. Say you are trying to compare between company A and company B. So company A responses are straight lines, whereas company B is dotted line. And you get to know how you are performing or how your company is performing. If your company is B, then you can say you are very strong in few points and you are lacking in few points. Fine. This is semantic type. Now, what exactly semantic is? This scale is widely used to compare the images of competing brands, companies, and services. Here, the respondents is required to rate each attitude or object on a number of 5 to 7 point rating scale. As we see, 7 boxes were there. The difference between Likert and semantic differential scale is Likert scale, the number of statements are presented to the respondents to express their degree of agreement and disagreement. However, in semantic differential scale, bipolar adjectives or phrases are used. Bipolar, positive, negative statements are given. Whereas in Likert, only statements are given and you check the agreement or disagreement or level of agreement and level of disagreement. So we have seen two types under non-comparative, itemized rating scale, Likert scale, semantic scale, and let us see the next one, that is Staple. Staple example, whenever you go to a restaurant, this type of scaling is given. So this scale includes negative as well as positive points. Quality of food, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. At the end of your food, after having food in any restaurant, good restaurant, they may give you such type of questionnaire. So if there are 50 customers in a day, you will get 50 responses. And for quality of food, if you tick on 2, here small asterisk is there, 2. So it means the food is good quality. But if you tick at 5, it is excellent. Quality of service, it is very poor. 5 asterisk. It is very poor. So quality of service plus 5, very, very good. Excellent service they are giving. You are happy. Plus 3 is happy with the services given. Plus 1, okay. Got it? So this is Staple scale. This is Staple scale. Yeah. Check this now. Scaling techniques. We have seen comparative scales, non-comparative scale. Right now we have seen graphic rating scale, itemized rating scale. Again, 3 types in itemized. Likert scale, where statements were given and you need to put a tick mark on most favored and most not favored. Semantic, bipolar, Staple, positive, negative scaling. Right? Comparative scale, paired comparison you have seen between two, constant sum between more than two, rank order, you are ranking, right? 100 rupees are given and you are putting points. Q sort, you are trying. Magazine example we have seen, magazine. Graphic means in a form of picture or in a form of graph, they prepare a questionnaire. Please remember this. Please remember this. I hope this is very easy to remember. If you read it twice or thrice, you will start understanding. Now, henceforth, the moment you see any question, you should be able to bifurcate that question, or you should be able to tell us which type of scale is used to prepare that particular question. So that type of questions may be asked in MCQs. A question will be given and you will be asked which type of scaling technique is used. So you need to answer accordingly. This is a bit important unit. You need to understand this because this is the base of research. The better questionnaire you prepare, the better responses you get, and you will be very sure that whatever problem your organization is facing, it will be taken care after completing or after analyzing the data collected. If the questionnaire itself is wrong, if the tool which you are using, trying to use, is wrong, then in that case, what will happen? The responses which you are getting is wrong. The solution which you are getting is wrong. So if you work on that solution, the whole organization will definitely suffer. Now, there are errors. There are errors always associated with these measurement scales or these techniques. This occurs when observed measurements on a this occurs when the observed measurement on a construct or concept deviates from its true values. Reasons for this type of measurement errors: mood, fatigue, and health of the respondent. You are not in a mood to respond to any questionnaire, but the salesperson has come on your door and he is asking you, sir, how is the product? Please rate the product between 1 to 6. You are not in a mood. So maybe you are saying, to just make him happy, 6, please go. So here the error is coming in. And if 10% of the respondent is making an error, that will definitely impact on the final solution after data analysis. So that is also important. You need to understand the mood, fatigue, and health of the respondent, and whether you are contacting that respondent on an appropriate time or not. Variations in the environment in which measurements are taken. Variation in the environment. Normally, this variation in the environment is seen in chemical reactions, where the temperature goes up and down. If you are making a particular reaction in winter, the temperature, environmental temperature is low, whereas if you are making it in a summer time, then the temperature is a bit higher. Such type of environment will directly put error in your measurement. But this is chemical. But when you are talking, when we are talking about business. So there are environment which may create a variation into it, which may create. The respondent is sitting in a noisy place and it is very disturbing. So the result, the questionnaire which he or she is filling, maybe in a wrong manner he will fill, in a wrong manner, or maybe in a hurry. Why? Because the person is already irritated. So environment also makes an impact on measurement. A respondent may not understand the question being asked, and the interviewer may have to rephrase the same. While rephrasing the questionnaire, the interviewer's bias may get into the responses. A particular question you are not understanding. If in a questionnaire, a question is asked, please rate the session which you are attending right now. Please rate the session. So suppose it's my session and आपको ये क्वेश्चन समझ ही नहीं आया कि रेट मतलब क्या करना है, and you ask that question to the data collector, a person who is collecting the data. उनको जब आपने क्वेश्चन पूछा तो उसने आपको क्या कहा कि how good you like the session, please rate how good you like this session, or please rate if you do not like the session. So while rephrasing, while making him understand, you are putting the collector, the person who is collecting these responses, is putting the personal bias into it. मुझे expect क्या है, if I'm very faithful to my organization, I'll always seek for positive this thing. So whenever I'll give this task to my colleagues, right? If I tell this to Dr. Anand or maybe Dr. Ajyotikar or other faculties, and if I tell them that just get me the feedback of my session, the students like my session or they dislike. So definitely they are very close to me and we are working with each other for so many years. And if they respect me, they will definitely try and get me positive results, right? And the way they will represent the question in front of you all will be in a biased manner. So that creates a measurement error. I hope you got this point. Some of the questions in questionnaire may be ambiguous error, may be committed at the time of coding, entering of data from questionnaire to the spreadsheet. as we saw in Likert scale, you need to put on any one, or maybe in Staple +5 -5. So while entering, instead of +5, I entered that on -5. Data entering, or while coding, I miscode 1/2, right? Such type of mistakes again creates a error. Now, what is the criteria for a good measurement? We were talking about reliability and uh, validity, I think 2 or 3 days back. Reliability is I'm so sorry. I think it was in MCQs. We were trying to solve MCQs and we were trying to understand what reliability and validity is. Reliability is concerned with consistency, accuracy, and predictability of the scale. Whatever, see, where this reliability or validity is used, once you draft a questionnaire and you collect the responses from few samples only, and this type of sample collection is called as pilot sample. Pilot sample means you are collecting it from few samples and few respondents, and you are trying to check the reliability and validity of the questionnaire. This is very important step while drafting a questionnaire, because there may be errors present in the questionnaire. आपने क्वेश्चन को गलत तरीके से ड्राफ्ट किया होगा. So when we get the responses from few respondents, we try and check it, and while checking, if we are not getting the required result, we will come to the conclusion that there is some problem in the questionnaire. That's why always before launching the questionnaire full-fledged, we need to go for a pilot study. Pilot study is very important, and in pilot study we check this reliability and validity. Now, different types of reliability methods are used. But what is reliability? Whether the questionnaire is reliable, whether the questionnaire will give the correct answer to us, that is checked. Try and understand this. Reliability of a questionnaire is checked. My friend is very reliable. Even if I give him 1 lakh rupees, he will definitely pass it on to my family. Reliability. I'm using the questionnaire, and this questionnaire is very reliable. Why? Because it will give me the correct answer. Correct, I'm saying, correct, and not the answer which I'm expecting. If I say in this manner, the answer which I'm expecting, it is I'm putting bias into it. So I want a correct answer. Reliability. So all my faculties are very reliable. They will definitely give me the correct answer. No, sir, students find the subject difficult to understand. So then again, I will come out with a new style to make you understand. That is the output. Reliability. Reliability is concerned with consistency, accuracy, and predictability of the scale. The methods used to measure reliability is test, retest reliability, split half reliability, and Cronbach alpha. Test, retest. Test, retest means you do the test n number of times and you check the result. That is test, retest. Same respondent, you ask same questionnaire in 2 different time. आपने मॉर्निंग में उस रिस्पोंडेंट को 2 क्वेश्चंस पूछे, सेम क्वेश्चंस आपने उस रिस्पोंडेंट को इवनिंग में पूछे. टेस्ट, रीटेस्ट, एंड यू चेक द रिस्पॉन्सेस. मॉर्निंग में जो उसका रिस्पॉन्स था वही रिस्पॉन्स उसका शाम को मिला है. इट मींस द क्वेश्चनर इज रिलायबल. It is giving us a consistent response. Split half, we split half the responses into different parts, and then after analysis we check whether these 2 halves are giving the same solution. In this we may go for odd and even responses. There are 50 respondents from whom I have collected the data, and all the odd respondents questionnaire I'll separate and even I'll separate. Odd के सारे जितने भी 25 odd respondents हैं उनके responses I'll check, and I'll check even responses of the respondents, and then I'll try and match. If the answer or if the outcome of both the odd and even responses are similar, then I will say my questionnaire is reliable. The method which I have, the types of scales which I have used are reliable. Cronbach alpha. Cronbach alpha again is a mix of test, retest and split half, but it is done electronically or IT based. SPSS मैंने जो कहा था, SPSS में there is an option for Cronbach. So if you put all the variables into a box and then you click on Cronbach alpha, you will directly get the value. Cronbach alpha, the maximum value is always 1. So if your Cronbach alpha value is near to 1, if it is above 0.7, 0.7 or 0.7, or if it is 0.7, then the reliability is okay. Always the reliability value for Cronbach alpha should be above 0.7 and till 1. Above 1, you will not get value. Why? Because Cronbach alpha always give you value between 0.7 to 1. It means 100%. So how good your reliability is? It is above 70%. It should be above 70%. Anything less than 0.7, you will try to rework on the questionnaire. You will try to rework. So this is reliability. Next, we are talking about validity. The validity of scale refers to the question whether we are measuring what we want to measure. जो क्वेश्चन मैंने पूछा है वो बराबर मेजर कर रहा है, बराबर मुझे उसका रिस्पांस मिल रहा है. यहाँ पे हम लोग कंसिस्टेंसी के बारे में ज्यादा बात कर रहे थे, एक्यूरेसी के बारे में बात कर रहे थे. यहाँ पे हम लोग जो क्वेश्चन ड्राफ्ट हुआ है वो बराबर से ड्राफ्ट हुआ है क्या. एंड देयर आर डिफरेंट टाइप्स. कंटेंट वैलिडिटी, कंकरेंट वैलिडिटी, प्रिडिक्टिव वैलिडिटी, ये अलग अलग टाइप्स है. यू नीड नॉट वरी अबाउट दैट, ओनली remember the name. Sensitivity. Sensitivity refers to an instrument's ability to accurately measure the variability in the concept. Now, variability means we are talking about measure of dispersion. जहाँ पे थोड़ा सा dispersion है, center point से dispersion. इसका हम लोग डिटेल में देखेंगे. What is measure of central tendency and what is measure of dispersion? अभी थोड़ा सा इन शॉर्ट में बताने की कोशिश करूंगा. So measure of central tendency have three types. Mean, median, mode is measure of central tendency. Whereas when we talk about standard deviation, when we talk about mean deviation, when we talk about quartile deviation, when we talk about range, ये जो चार types है, ये measure of dispersion रहते हैं. अब ये होता क्या है? Measure of central tendency और measure of dispersion. Measure of central tendency मतलब जब हम लोग data collect करते हैं. अभी अगर मैं यहाँ पे बात करूँ, so number of students present, almost 25 students are there in this session. मैं अगर सबसे पूछूं कि just answer me say just yes and no. You like my session or not? You will say yes, you will say no. When I try and code it and when I try to make a graph, इसमें जो मुझे mean मिलेगा, mean मतलब कैसे? All the responses divided by number of respondents, right? That is mean. Median means increasing to decreasing order, decreasing to increasing, and the centermost value. Mode is number of times a particular number is repeated, right? That becomes mode. So iska measure of central tendency means it is the tendency of the numbers which we collect, tendency of the data to accumulate around the centermost value. एक centermost value रहती है, उसके आसपास ही उसका ग्राफ आपको दिखेगा, right? So this centermost value is called as measure of central tendency. और ये जो centermost value रहती है, ये कौन सी value रहती है? ये mean रहती है, mode रहती है या फिर median रहती है. इसी टाइप से ये जो centermost values से अलग-अलग जो आपको इसके आजू-बाजू में जो dots मिले हैं, how much it is distorted, ये कितना vary हुआ है, कितना इसमें variability है, उसके measure को हम लोग measure of dispersion कहते हैं. Measure of central tendency and measure of dispersion. So how dispersed the value is? Centermost value is 5, but आपको value मिला है 7, आपको मिला है 8, आपको मिला है 3, आपको मिला है 2. So how dispersed it is? I hope you are understanding this. उसको कहते हैं measure of dispersion. Sensitivity में they have said sensitivity refers to an instrument's ability to accurately measure the variability in the concept. So जो भी concept है उसमें variability कितना है, उसमें dispersion कितना है, उसमें distortion कितना है, वो sensitivity check करता है. So criteria for a good measurement we have seen reliability and validity. Reliability checks about consistency, accuracy and predictability. Whether the scale will be able to predict the required answer or not. Whereas validity में क्या चेक होता है, whether the questions asked are valid or not. जो भी क्वेश्चन पूछा है वो सही क्वेश्चन है या गलत है. मुझे क्वेश्चन पूछना था कि मेरा सेशन कितना अच्छा है, बट मैं ये क्वेश्चन बच्चों से क्वेश्चन पूछने की जगह पे मैं कंटेंट के बारे में पूछने लग गया कि हाउ इज द कंटेंट ऑफ माय सेशन. कंटेंट इज डिफरेंट एंड माय सेशन penetration is something different. Yes, content will help me to penetrate for a good session, but the answer should be the questions drafted should be always appropriate. जो चाहिए उसी के बारे में आपने क्वेश्चंस पूछना है. वैलिडिटी के लिए कोई ऐसा प्रोग्राम अवेलेबल नहीं है कि जहां पे यू कैन चेक द वैलिडिटी ऑफ अ क्वेश्चनर. कोई सॉफ्टवेयर अवेलेबल नहीं है कि जहां पे आप करोगे. दिस कम्स थ्रू प्रैक्टिस. और once you draft the questionnaire, suppose you are from marketing field and you want to get the solution for a marketing problem, तो marketing के जो भी stalwarts रहते हैं, you can show the questionnaire to them and then they will tell you the content errors. इसमें ये गलत है, आपने इस चीज को ऐसे नहीं ड्राफ्ट करना चाहिए, आपने इस क्वेश्चन को रिवर्क करना चाहिए, रिफेस करना चाहिए, ऐसे सजेशंस वो देंगे. And then validity of your questionnaire will improve by incorporating those suggestions. Right? So validity, there is no such software available. Now, next point in this unit is how we collect the data. We have already discussed many times during our sessions from last 7 days. This is 7th day today, if I'm not wrong, or 6th. I'm so sorry, 6th day. But we always say that there are two types of data collection method. One is primary data and another one is secondary data. So primary data, that is first hand data. Secondary data, second hand data. हम लोग ऐसे बात कर रहे हैं. But what is primary data? Primary data, when we collect the data ourselves, that is primary data. But when we refer already existing data in literature, on website, in magazines, in annual general meeting reports, right? That is secondary data. If you are trying to read balance sheet of any company for last 5 years, that is secondary data. Clear? Primary data, fresh data, first hand data, ready, you yourself collected the data, or you have told, or you have given the task to someone and someone is trying to collect the data for you. So it is original in character. Whereas secondary data, it is already done by someone and already published somewhere. You are trying to take out that data and read that data. जितने भी बैलेंस शीट रहती है कंपनीज एट द एंड ऑफ द ईयर बाय जून और जुलाई वो लोग अपने बैलेंस शीट डिक्लेयर कर देते हैं. और आप बीइंग एनालिस्ट, फाइनेंशियल एनालिस्ट, यू टेक द बैलेंस शीट and you check the balance sheet on different ratios. Financial ratios आप लोगों ने पढ़े रहेंगे, वो अलग अलग ratios पे आप उस balance sheet को check करते हैं. Then you check the company's performance. That is secondary data based. So primary data, how we collect the primary data? क्वेश्चनर हम लोगों ने बना लिया है. क्वेश्चनर में बनाने के लिए स्केलिंग वी हैव अंडरस्टूड. अभी स्केलिंग हो गया है. अब ये जो questionnaire है हमारे सामने, not questionnaire, the problem which we are trying to resolve. Go back to management dilemma, go back to management problem, go back to management question. जो प्रॉब्लम हम लोगों ने लिया है उस प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करने के लिए how we are going to collect the data. I have only two methods with me. One is primary data, another one is secondary data. अगर मैं प्राइमरी डेटा यूज करूंगा तो मुझे प्राइमरी डेटा में कौन कौन से मेथड्स यूज करने हैं वो मुझे देखना पड़ेगा. इफ आई एम यूजिंग सेकेंडरी, तो सेकेंडरी में भी विच मैगजीन आई विल यूज, विच टूल आई विल यूज, मतलब whether I will go for companies data, whether I will use data which is available on internet, whether I will go to the company and try to get whatever they have with them, literature, वो डेटा मैं यूज करूंगा. दैट डिपेंड्स. सो प्राइमरी डेटा में देयर आर डिफरेंट मेथड्स जो मैं आपको ऑलरेडी बता चुका हूं. लेट अस डिस्कस वंस अगेन. एक्सपेरिमेंट, सर्वेज, ऑब्जर्वेशन एंड पर्सनल इंटरव्यूज. ये चार तरीके से हम लोग कर सकते हैं. एक्सपेरिमेंट हम लोग कर सकते हैं, प्राइस प्रोडक्ट का बढ़ा दिया और उसका हम लोग डिमांड चेक कर सकते हैं, या फिर प्रोडक्ट में हम लोगों ने फ्री गिफ्ट्स देने शुरू कर दिए, वन ऑन वन फ्री. दैट इज अगेन एन एक्सपेरिमेंट. तो मेरा सेल कितना बढ़ रहा है वो मैं चेक कर सकता हूँ. सर्वेज, सैंपल सर्वेज और सेंसस सर्वेज. अभी सर्वेज करते हैं मतलब Survey is in a big manner. Census survey मतलब sample survey is different than census survey. Census मतलब पूरा population, पूरे population को. There are 90 students in first year MBA Metric School of Management Studies. जो भी Google form हम लोग आपसे लेते हैं, that is census survey. क्योंकि we request all the 90 students to fill that. Whereas sample survey में जिन्होंने we float a questionnaire or we float a Google form और आप में से मैंने कहा कि मुझे 10 स्टूडेंट्स ने ये सैंपल सर्वे भर के देना है, सैंपल गूगल फॉर्म भर के देना है. सो दैट बिकम्स अ सैंपल सर्वे. सेंसस एंड सैंपल सर्वे करते हैं हम लोग. इसमें हम लोग उस प्रोडक्ट के बारे में बताते हैं और लोगों से क्वेश्चंस पूछ के उसके रिस्पॉन्सेस लेने की कोशिश करते हैं. ऑब्जर्वेशन. Observation, two types I have told you, participative and non-participative observation. Whereas personal interview में आप लोग 1-to-1 face-to-face interview लेते हैं. You have a questionnaire. अब पर्सनल इंटरव्यू भी दो टाइप के हो सकते हैं. एक तो स्ट्रक्चर्ड क्वेश्चनर पे हो सकता है, एक अनस्ट्रक्चर्ड क्वेश्चनर पे हो सकता है. When we are going for exploratory research, तो हम लोग अनस्ट्रक्चर्ड पे काम करेंगे. When we are talking about descriptive, we will work on structured questionnaire. Now, of the above, the important ones are observation method, interview method, and questionnaire schedule. Observation, interview, and questionnaire. What is observation method? मैंने आपको already बता दिया कि you observe the say behavior of any person, or you observe the product, whether this product is doing good in the market or not, right? So that is simple observation. उसके हिसाब से आप data collect करने की कोशिश करते हो. Observation becomes a scientific tool and the method of data collection when it serves a formulated research purpose, is systematically planned and recorded, and is subject to checks and controls on validity and reliability. Under observation, the information is sought by the way of investigators' own direct observation without asking from the respondents. इसमें आपको रिस्पोंडेंट से कुछ पूछने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती है. सिर्फ रिस्पॉन्स ऑब्जर्वेशन पे आप लोग आई एम ऑब्जर्विंग योर मार्क्स एंड आई एम फाइनलाइजिंग हु इज द गुड स्टूडेंट एंड हु इज एवरेज स्टूडेंट. ऑब्जर्वेशन, राइट? आई एम स्टैंडिंग आउटसाइड द क्लास और मे बी आई एम checking the CCTV footage of a session taught by Dr. Anand, and I am trying to judge who are the sincere students and who are the naughty students sitting in my class. That is observation, right? But that is non-participative observation. अब इसके advantages क्या हैं? Subjective bias is eliminated. Observation method में the information relates to what is currently happening. This method is independent of respondents' willingness to respond. अब इसमें respondent मुझे आप लोग क्लास में बैठ के मुझे response दो मत दो, मुझे उससे कुछ लेने देना नहीं है. Because what? I'm observing you all and I'm collecting the data. So इसमें the last advantage, the method is independent of respondents' willingness. इसमें this is very economic method. यहाँ पे पैसे कम लगते हैं. This is cost saving method. The information relates to what is currently happening. मैंने observation लिया means this is the primary data I'm trying to collect, और यहाँ पे मैंने बच्चों से या फिर मैंने जो भी observe किया उसके ऊपर से ये data collect किया है. So whatever is currently happening, अभी जो current session था डॉक्टर आनंद का, मैंने वो observe किया है. मैं 2 साल पहले या 1 साल पहले की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ. I'm not talking about first semester. जो आपके seniors हैं उनका first semester का, अभी उनके behavior में काफी change आ गया होगा. अभी third semester में they are more serious. In first semester they were less serious. They were not understanding the topic. Now the interest has been developed, right? Maybe Anand sir has also improved his style of teaching. तो उस वजह से भी उनका interest बच्चों का बढ़ गया होगा. So current happenings मैं use कर रहा हूँ. Limitations: it is expensive. Though I said it is cheap, but it is expensive. What must be the reason? There is a difference between what I said and what is written here. क्यों इसमें लग रहा है कि expensive है? I said observation में मुझे respondent से direct जाके बात करने की जरूरत नहीं है. In that regard, it is cheap. But when we say it is time consuming, because if I want to check the session on one session, I may not draw my conclusion. So I need to check all the sessions of Dr. Anand, and all the sessions of Dr. Anand are of 1 hour each. So if there are 30 sessions for a particular course, then I need to check 30 hours. 30 hours means again expensive, time consuming. But if I say as compared to other methods, then definitely this is economic. The information provided by this method is very limited. Unforeseen factors may interfere with the observation task. आपका बिहेवियर मैं क्लासरूम में चेक कर रहा हूँ थ्रू सीसीटीवी, उसमें कुछ भी प्रॉब्लम्स आ सकते हैं ऑन अ पर्टिकुलर डे, और मे बी फ्रॉम लास्ट 10-15 डेज यू आर नॉट फीलिंग वेल. तो आपका जो क्लास का परफॉर्मेंस है, द वे यू आर सिटिंग, द वे यू आर अटेंडिंग द क्लास, द वे यू आर लुकिंग एट डॉक्टर आनंद, द वे यू आर आस्किंग क्वेश्चंस, वो शायद थोड़ा सा कम हो जाएगा. और उसी 15-30 डेज का जो मैंने एवरेज लिया है, उसमें आपका जो परसेंटेज रहेगा अटेंटिवनेस का, दैट विल बी वेरी लेस. सो इसमें अनफोर्सिन फैक्टर्स इंटरफेयर कर सकते हैं, एक्सट्रानियस फैक्टर्स जिसे हम लोग कहते हैं. टाइप्स ऑफ ऑब्जर्वेशन, स्ट्रक्चर्ड वर्सेस अनस्ट्रक्चर्ड एंड पार्टिसिपेटिव वर्सेस नॉन पार्टिसिपेटिव. स्ट्रक्चर्ड ऑब्जर्वेशन, क्या ऑब्जर्व करना है, किसको ऑब्जर्व करना है, कितनी देर के लिए ऑब्जर्व करना है, व्हाट इज द स्केल, एवरीथिंग इज प्री डिसाइडेड. अनस्ट्रक्चर्ड में नथिंग इज डिसाइडेड. पार्टिसिपेटिव, यू आर इन द ग्रुप एंड यू आर ट्राइंग टू ऑब्जर्व. मैं आपके साथ बैठ के बातें कर रहा हूँ और मैं आपको ऑब्जर्व कर रहा हूँ कौन कितना अच्छा है. मैं बाहर हूँ और आपको ग्रुप डिस्कशन के लिए टॉपिक दे दिया, एंड आई एम ट्राइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड हु इज द बेस्ट student out of those 10. Non-participative. So just go through this. Interview method, again, it is known to all. Personal interview, collecting information. Then again, personal interview may be of two types. It is structured and unstructured. When structured, descriptive. When unstructured, exploratory. Something new you are trying to find. Focused interview, clinical interview, non-direct interview. Just go through this. Advantage, disadvantage, I need not discuss also because you know this. Data collection through questionnaire. Yes. Now the important part is questionnaire. How a questionnaire should be made and what all contents has to be there in a questionnaire. This is very, very, very important. This is heart of any research. If you have decided to prepare a questionnaire and collect the data, then questionnaire has to be to the point. Questionnaire, again, you need to check validity, you need to check reliability of this particular tool. We have seen 3 different tools. Actually, it is 4, but we have seen, say this. We are talking about these tools. These are tools. Observation method, interview method, questionnaire method. These are tools to collect the primary data. And we are talking about questionnaire. Popular in major studies. Briefly, a questionnaire is sent, maybe by post. Nowadays, it is on mail to the person, or maybe on WhatsApp also now, concerned with a request to answer the questions and return the questionnaire. The questionnaire consists of number of questions printed in a definite order. Now, printing and all has gone. Now it is Google form. The questionnaire is mailed again. Yes. Now merits, it is low cost, free from interviewer bias. Respondents have adequate. Interviewer bias means, see, interview and questionnaire. While asking the question, the situation becomes a bit different. And while the question is in printed form and you are answering it is different. Because when I am interviewing you, right? मैं जब आपसे कुछ इंटरव्यू ले रहा हूं और आपसे कुछ क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा हूं, तो जैसे मैंने कहा था, रिफ्रेज करते समय मुझे जो चाहिए उस टाइप से मैं क्वेश्चन पूछूंगा. आपको ये खाना अच्छा लगा है क्या? ये खाना ठीक लग रहा है क्या आपको? सी, देयर इज अ डिफरेंस बिटवीन बोथ द क्वेश्चंस. आपको ये खाना अच्छा लग रहा है क्या? इट मींस मैं एक्सपेक्ट कर रहा हूं मुझे पॉजिटिव आंसर मिले. आपको ये खाना ठीक लग रहा है क्या? इट मींस आई हैव अ डाउट अबाउट दैट पर्टिकुलर फूड और द क्वालिटी ऑफ द फूड. सो ये इंटरव्यू के समय हो सकता है, राइट? बट हम लोग जो क्वेश्चनर भेजते हैं, इट इज प्रिंटेड. गूगल फॉर्म इज ऑलरेडी ड्राफ्टेड. उसमें कोई चेंज नहीं हो सकता, उसमें कोई क्वेश्चन पूछा नहीं जा रहा है आपसे. सो यहाँ पे ये इंटरव्यूअर बायस कम हो जाता है. पॉइंट नंबर 2, रिस्पोंडेंट्स हैव एडिक्वेट टाइम टू थिंक. आपके पास टाइम रहता है कि मैं वेदर आई शुड मार्क ऑन 7 और वेदर आई शुड पुट अ मार्क ऑन 5. नहीं, इतना कुछ ठीक नहीं था, बट देन ओके, 5 वाज ओके. मुझे अच्छा लगा, बट इतना भी अच्छा नहीं लगा. सो 5, 6, 7 में आई मार्क्ड ऑन 5. Respondents who are not easily approachable can also be reached conveniently. मैं काफी दिनों से आपसे बात करने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ, मैं काफी दिनों से आपसे इंटरव्यू लेने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ, बट आपके पास टाइम नहीं, यू आर वेरी बिजी, right? You are out of my reach. So what best thing I'll do is I'll draft a questionnaire and I'll send it through you, send it through mail to you. So अगर आप reachable नहीं हो तो भी आप वो मेल पढ़ोगे और आप मुझे आंसर दे सकते हो जब आपको टाइम मिलेगा. मे बी while sleeping आपको थोड़ा सा you have 5 minutes, आपको नींद नहीं आ रही है, तो what you can do is you will open that mail, आप मेरा क्वेश्चनर ओपन करोगे and you will answer. So approachability का यहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम नहीं रहता है. Large samples can be used. N number of people I can forward the mail. N number of bulk mail मैंने भेज दिया and I started getting the responses. So this is one of the best methods they say. Observation, interview and questionnaire method में observation, questionnaire method is the best method ऐसा कहा जाता है. Demerits, low rate of return. काफी लोग रिस्पॉन्ड नहीं करते हैं, तो मैंने 100 लोगों को भेजा, उसमें से सिर्फ मुझे 30-35 लोगों ने रिस्पॉन्ड किया है, बिकॉज काफी लोगों ने मेल पढ़ा नहीं. जैसे हम लोग आपको गूगल फॉर्म भेजते हैं तो हमें उसके बाद आपको फोन करना पड़ता है. पर्सनली माय फैकल्टीज, माय कलीग्स आर कॉलिंग यू, अरे आपने ये नहीं भरा, आपने ये फॉर्म नहीं भरा है, चलो भर दीजिए. अरे सर मैंने देखा नहीं, अरे सर इट्स स्किप्ड, सर मुझे टाइम नहीं मिला, आई वाज बिजी, आई वाज पॉजिटिव. ये आंसर्स आपके मिलते हैं हमें आजकल. एंड देन वी रीच एट फिगर 90. So low rate of return. Respondents need to educate and cooperative. आपको एजुकेट करना पड़ता है, आपको बताना पड़ता है कि अरे भरो ये आपके लिए है, ये गूगल फॉर्म भर दो, इसमें आपका पूरा एजुकेशन का ये आ जाएगा, तो आपका इंफॉर्मेशन हमारे पास रहेगा. इनबिल्ट इनफ्लेक्सिबिलिटी, इसमें ये फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी रहती ही नहीं है, बिकॉज क्वेश्चन ऑलरेडी ड्राफ्टेड है, क्वेश्चन ऑलरेडी आपके पास आ चुके हैं, तो इसमें फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी मतलब आई कैन नॉट चेंज द क्वेश्चंस. पॉसिबिलिटी ऑफ एम्बिगुअस रिप्लाईज और ओमिशन ऑफ आइटम्स. आप लोगों को मैंने 10 क्वेश्चन का क्वेश्चनर गूगल फॉर्म भेजा था, यू आर आंसरिंग टू ओनली 8-7, सो यू आर ओमिटिंग फ्यू क्वेश्चंस. या आप लोगों के जो रिप्लाईज है वो एम्बिग्यूअस है. एम्बिग्यूअस है मतलब कैसे कि आपको सेशन कैसा लगा, तो आपने दो जगह पे टिक मार्क करके रखा, एक तो नेगेटिव साइड पे, एक पॉजिटिव साइड पे. दैट इज एम्बिग्यूअस. मैं क्या करूंगा उसमें, हाउ आई एम गोइंग टू एनालाइज द डेटा, राइट? एंड दिस मेथड इज बिट स्लो, इट टेक्स टाइम. ऑब्जर्वेशन, वहां पे आप खड़े हो, आपने ऑब्जर्व किया, यू मेक द कमेंट्स एंड यू कंप्लीट योर रिसर्च. यहाँ पे आपको रुकना पड़ता है, अनलेस एंड अंटिल द रिस्पोंडेंट सेंड यू मेल, आप लोग कुछ नहीं कर सकते. फीचर्स ऑफ अ क्वेश्चनर. क्वेश्चनर इज heart of survey, needs to be carefully constructed and needs to understand the features of questionnaire in general form, questionnaire sequence, formulation and wording of questions. This is bit important. Questionnaire कैसे रहेगा, क्वेश्चंस के सीक्वेंस क्या क्या रहने चाहिए, क्वेश्चन फॉर्मुलेशंस कैसे होंगे, उसके वर्ड्स हम लोग क्या क्या यूज करेंगे, हर चीज का हम लोगों को ध्यान रखना पड़ता है. वी हैव टू बी वेरी वेरी केयरफुल इन दिस, बिकॉज अ स्लाइट मिस्टेक मे ruin your complete task. You have already spent lot of time and money on this, और बाद में जब अगर आपका क्वेश्चन ही गलत था एंड यू स्टार्टेड गेटिंग रॉन्ग कंक्लूजन, तो फिर उसमें प्रॉब्लम हो जाता है और वहां पे आप कुछ भी नहीं कर सकते. दैट्स व्हाई while drafting the questionnaire you have to be very careful. You need to take care of all these things. General form, structured and structured. Acha, we will check this later on. I need not tell you about what general form is, what question sequence is, जैसे मैंने आपको बता दिया. But yeah, we can do one thing. इसमें हम लोग क्या करते हैं, हम लोग एक या दो क्वेश्चनर कल हम लोग डाउनलोड कर लेंगे, which I'll do it for you, and tomorrow morning we will discuss on those questionnaires, right? कि उसका सीक्वेंस कैसा है, whether that is appropriate or not, कौन सा स्केलिंग टेक्निक उसमें यूज हुआ है, वो चीजें हम लोग कल मॉर्निंग में डिस्कस करेंगे. By the time you also be prepared. Download any 2 or 3 questionnaire from the internet. क्वेश्चनर डाल देंगे पीडीएफ फॉर्म, you will get n number of questionnaires. उसमें कैसे क्वेश्चंस पूछे गए हैं, व्हाट दे आर ट्राइंग टू कलेक्ट, व्हाट देयर प्रॉब्लम वाज, हर चीज आपको क्वेश्चनर देख के पता चल सकता है. whether the question is appropriate or not, whether the validity is whether the questionnaire is valid or not, whether it is reliable or not, वो चीजें हम लोग वहां पे कल डिस्कस करने की कोशिश करेंगे. फाइन. सो keep this as a homework. These slides are already there on your on the website of Matrix School of Management Studies. First 2 chapter slides are already uploaded. There were some minor corrections in that. वो जो मैंने correct कर दिया है वो कल update हो चुका है, तो आप website पे से देख सकते हैं. But try and understand, questionnaire is very important. Why? Because 90% or say it range between 80 to 90% of the research were conducted on questionnaires. Conducted through questionnaires. So you try and understand ये कितना important है, क्वेश्चनर बनाना कितना important है, कितना अच्छे से क्वेश्चनर बनेगा उसी ऊपर से. इसमें always if you would have faced written exam, तो आपको 10 मार्क्स के लिए क्वेश्चन आया रहता कि ड्राफ्ट क्वेश्चन है. I'll show you few question papers tomorrow. क्वेश्चन पेपर्स में आपको दिखाने की कोशिश करूंगा, उसमें आप देखिए हर साल एक क्वेश्चन पूछा हुआ है, ड्राफ्ट क्वेश्चनर ऑन अ पर्टिकुलर प्रॉब्लम गिवन टू यू, कि आप उसका डेटा कलेक्शन कैसे करो. तो 10 मार्क्स एटलीस्ट यू नीड टू ड्राफ्ट 15 क्वेश्चंस, तब जाके आपका नॉलेज उसमें बढ़ेगा. देन योर प्रैक्टिस विल इंप्रूव. रिसर्च इज नॉट अ theoretical subject. This research is a practical subject. Though I am teaching you theoretically, but it is a practical subject. The more you will do it yourself, the more you will understand this subject. So यहाँ पे I'm just trying to make you understand what the concepts are, what are the meaning of a particular word, particular words, right? वो मैं आपको समझाने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ. Rest, research is a practical subject. जितनी बार आप रिसर्च करोगे उतनी बार आप हर रिसर्च में यू विल कम आउट विद अ न्यू थिंग, और आप एक नई चीज लर्न करने की कोशिश करेंगे. सो दैट इज रिसर्च. सेकेंडरी डेटा, आई नीड नॉट टीच यू दिस. कलेक्शन ऑफ सेकेंडरी डेटा, काफी सारा मटेरियल अवेलेबल रहता है सेकेंडरी डेटा पे. रिलायबिलिटी ऑफ डेटा मे बी टेस्टेड बाय चेकिंग हु कलेक्टेड द डेटा, what were the sources of data and what was the data collected. अच्छा, सेकेंडरी डेटा में सपोज आप समर इंटर्नशिप प्रोजेक्ट करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, आप किसी कंपनी में कर रहे हो, सपोज आप मैकडोनल्ड्स में प्रोजेक्ट कर रहे हो. मैकडोनल्ड्स में आपको टास्क दिया गया है, चेक द कस्टमर सेटिस्फेक्शन ऑफ अ पर्टिकुलर पिज्जा या फिर ऑफ अ पर्टिकुलर आइटम, राइट? उसके ऊपर आपको क्वेश्चनर बनाने के लिए कहा जाएगा और आपको ही बनाना पड़ेगा. बट उसको बनाने से पहले ऑलरेडी उस पर्टिकुलर प्रोडक्ट के ऊपर रिसर्च हुआ है कि नहीं, वो लिटरेचर सर्वे आपको करना पड़ेगा. जब आपको हम लोग कहेंगे सर्वे कीजिए, मतलब हम लोग आपको कहेंगे, आपके जो गाइड रहेंगे, मेंटोर्स रहेंगे, वो आपको कहेंगे कलेक्ट 10 पेपर्स ऑन अ पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक. मे बी द प्रोडक्ट इज डिफरेंट, बट कस्टमर सेटिस्फेक्शन के ऊपर 10 पेपर कलेक्ट कीजिए. वो 10 पेपर्स आपने कलेक्ट किया, आपने उसको रीड किया, उसमें क्या क्वेश्चंस पूछे हैं, क्या रिजल्ट आया है, उसका समरी आपने लिख दिया. बट व्हेन यू कलेक्टेड दिस 10 पेपर्स, it means this is a secondary data. The research is not based on secondary data, but then the 10 research papers are secondary data. When you draft a questionnaire yourself and try to collect, then it becomes a primary data questionnaire. So उसका reliability बहुत important है कि ये 10 papers जो है ये आपने open source से collect किए हैं या paid sources से collect किया है. Now what is mean by open source and paid source? ओपन सोर्स मींस इंटरनेट ओपन किया आपने, गूगल अंकल को टाइप किया कि अंकल मुझे ये चाहिए, उन्होंने आपको दे दिया, राइट? बट काफी इस पे आप जब क्लिक करते हो वो ओपन नहीं होता, यू नीड टू पे सम डॉलर्स. दैट इज पेड सोर्स. पेड सोर्स का रिलायबिलिटी थोड़ा सा ज्यादा रहता है देन ओपन सोर्स, राइट? हु इज कलेक्टिंग द डेटा? जिसको बहुत ज्यादा नॉलेज है वो इंसान उस डेटा को कलेक्ट कर रहा है, देन इट इज रिलायबल, राइट? कहां से कर रहा है वो मैंने आपको बता दिया, पेड, open source. Was the data collected properly? Yes, if experienced person is doing it, if he knows the topic very well, if you have understood the problem, and if you are downloading the secondary data, then yes, it is done properly, right? So we talk about accuracy and suitability of the data in these terms. Fine, all these things are known to you, it is assumed. Yes, bit important. Questionnaire and interview, difference क्या है? Questionnaire define the research objectives. Interview define the purpose of the interview. Questionnaire इसमें स्लाइड डिफरेंस है इन क्वेश्चनर एंड इंटरव्यू टेक्निक्स. इंटरव्यू में फेस टू फेस इंटरव्यू हो रहा है, बट क्वेश्चनर में यू आर नॉट फेस टू फेस, सो यू कैन नॉट मेक द पर्सन अंडरस्टैंड, सॉरी, यू कैन नॉट मेक द पर्सन अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट द क्वेश्चन मींस. इसीलिए व्हाइल ड्राफ्टिंग अ क्वेश्चन यू हैव टू बी वेरी केयरफुल, जो मैंने आपको बताया है. नाउ वी ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड what are the basic difference between questionnaire and interview. In steps, almost everything is same. We start from number 8, analyzing interview data, analyzing questionnaire data, right? ये सब सेम रहता है, बट हम लोग इसमें कुछ चीजें हैं जो थोड़ा सा शफल करते हैं. And what it is, just check it. Questionnaire, I'll read all first. In questionnaire, define the research objective, whereas interview में define the purpose of interview. सिर्फ we are restricted to the interview की I'm trying to collect, I'm trying to interview you because I want to collect the data on this particular subject. But while questionnaire आपको वहाँ पे objective पहले define करने ही पड़ते हैं. Questionnaire select the sample, इसमें भी yes select the sample. Design the questionnaire, designing the interview format. Questionnaire for cannot be flexible, your interview format can be flexible. वहां पे आप while asking the questions you may immediately change the questions, but you do not get chance to change the questions in questionnaire. Google form में जब आप question पढ़ रहे थे, I cannot come in and I cannot change it, right? So you have to be very careful. That's why इसमें pilot test जो है वो पहले आ जाता है. Pilot test the questionnaire, under questionnaire. Pre-contacting the samples, write a cover letter, follow up non-respondent and analyzing that. Non-respondent means आप में से काफी लोग non-respondent रहते हैं जिनको हमें last moment तक follow up करना पड़ता है, and then you fill the questionnaire. Those are non-respondent, right? Interview में developing questions, selecting and training, pilot testing यहाँ पे 6 number पे आया है, यहाँ पे pilot test 4 number पे आया है. Conducting the interview and analyzing. So this is the difference between questionnaire and interview. Fine. So these are the steps. जो मैंने अभी आपको steps बताया उसको डिटेल में यहाँ पे explain किया है. Again, this is step for interview. So both are defined here. Now, tomorrow's task will be, we will be checking 2 questionnaires and we will try and understand the base of that questionnaire, right? We will see what scales are used in those questionnaire, then which style is used, what type of data we will be getting, what type of measurement errors can be made. These types, whatever we have studied today, we will check tomorrow morning. First thing we will do is, and then we will go to unit number 4. What all things we have studied today? We started with classification of scales. We have seen 2 types, comparative, non-comparative, comparative, 4 different types, non-comparative, 2 sub-types, but in that also graphical and which one you saw? I hope you have remember. We saw Likert, semantic, staple. I hope you remember. Fine. After that, we have seen primary data, secondary data, then the different types, advantages, disadvantages. Then we jump to questionnaire. Again, in primary data, we have seen observation, interview, and questionnaire. These 3 different tools are available for you. So whenever you want to go for a research, you may use any one of these. अब आप लोग मुझे पूछ सकते हो कि सर एग्जांपल दीजिए कि इसमें से कौन सा मेथड कब यूज करना है. अगर आपको किसी कंपनी के सीईओ का इंटरव्यू लेना है, इफ यू आर वर्किंग इन अ कंपनी और आपको कहा गया है कि गो टू सीईओ और उनसे क्वेश्चंस पूछिए कि ये कंपनी में कंपनी का फ्यूचर क्या है, राइट? दैट टाइम यू विल गो एंड टेक एन इंटरव्यू ऑफ द सीईओ. सो वहां पे इंटरव्यू मेथड आएगा जहां पे बहुत जरूरी है कि कुछ क्रिटिकल फैक्ट्स आपको उसमें से निकालने हैं, तो वहां पे आप इंटरव्यू लेते हैं. जहां पे सैंपल साइज बहुत ज्यादा है, सैंपल साइज बहुत ज्यादा है मींस सेंसस ही बहुत बड़ा था इसीलिए सैंपल साइज ज्यादा है, वहां पे आप क्वेश्चनर मेथड यूज कर सकते हैं, वहां पे इंटरव्यू मेथड आपका फेल हो जाएगा, राइट? इन दोनों के बीच में आता है ऑब्जर्वेशन मेथड. ऑब्जर्वेशन मेथड मींस ऐसी जगह, ऐसे कुछ रिसर्च टाइप्स जहाँ पे पार्टिसिपेटिव नॉन पार्टिसिपेटिव ऑब्जर्वेशंस हो सकते हैं. अ स्मॉल ग्रुप ऑफ मे बी 10-20 स्टूडेंट्स आर देयर एंड यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड देयर बिहेवियर, राइट. इस बिहेवियर को अंडरस्टैंड करने के लिए यू मे टॉक टू देम और यू मे नॉट टॉक टू देम, यू विल जस्ट ऑब्जर्व. अभी ऑब्जर्वेशन मेथड्स हम लोग कहाँ यूज करते हैं? आई एम इन अ मॉल एंड आई एम चेकिंग दोज हु आर कमिंग इनसाइड द मॉल, व्हाट ऑल थिंग्स दे आर चेकिंग फर्स्ट. सबसे पहले वो क्या देख रहे हैं? दैट इज ऑब्जर्वेशन. दैट इज ऑब्जर्व. आई एम स्टैंडिंग आउटसाइड द मॉल एंड आई एम चेकिंग कौन कैसे बिहेव कर रहा है. I am sitting in a park and I am checking all the children's how they are behaving. Observation. जहाँ पे सैंपल कहे या फिर पूरा सेंसस ही हो जाता है, वो कम रहता है. सो ऑब्जर्वेशन, फेस टू फेस, वन टू वन इंटरव्यू एंड लार्ज सैंपल साइज क्वेश्चनर. सो ये अलग अलग टाइप्स है. डिपेंडिंग ऑन द सिचुएशन यू शुड यूज अ एप्रोप्रिएट टूल. दिस इज मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट. वंस यू अंडरस्टैंड दिस, योर रिसर्च विल बी अ सक्सेस. आप लोग हमेशा अच्छा रिसर्च कर पाओगे, राइट. So these slides are already there on the website. You check it. In case it is not available, just let me know or request Mohit sir. Yes, problems, queries, any part which you have not understood. CCs में इसके ऊपर कोई क्वेश्चन पूछा हुआ है इस चैप्टर पे?
क्वेश्चन पे है क्वेश्चन, रेटिंग के ऊपर है क्वेश्चन.
यस, तो वो हम लोग कल डिस्कस करेंगे, ठीक है. इट्स ऑलरेडी 7:30, दैट्स व्हाई आई विल नॉट कंटिन्यू. उसमें अगेन 10-15 मिनट्स हम लोगों को लग जाएंगे. तो वो हम लोग कल, जो भी आपको सीसी दिया हुआ है वो कल मैं ओपन ही कर दूंगा आपके सामने और हम लोग उसको डिस्कस करने की कोशिश करेंगे. सो दैट व्हाटएवर आंसर्स यू हैव रिटन, यू जस्ट रीचेक इट. ये मैंने बराबर लिखा है या फिर ये मुझे थोड़ा स्लाइट मॉडिफिकेशन करना पड़ेगा. फाइन. एनी अदर प्रॉब्लम व्हिच यू आर फेसिंग?
नो सर.
Acha, I hope you all are doing very good. Please take care of yourself. I don't know whether it is correct news or not, but then they are saying third wave of coronavirus is already in India. Third wave means it is the most dangerous.
Yes sir. Yesterday actually in news they are saying that they found two or three patients of third variant.
हाँ, that is third variant. और उसमें अभी इतना प्रॉब्लम हो चुका है कि it may kill 20% of our population. That is a prediction. Huh? So please be careful. Do not go outside unless and until it is very important. दोस्त के गले में हाथ डाल के आप लोग घूम रहे हो, प्लीज. ये पहले बहुत अच्छा लगता था, पहले आप लोग बहुत ही इमोशनल थे. अभी थोड़ा सा आपका इमोशंस बाजू में रखिए. बी प्रैक्टिकल. थिंक ऑफ योर ओन लाइफ एंड योर फैमिली मेंबर्स. उनके बारे में सोचिए. सो डू नॉट गो आउटसाइड because for your information, now Dr. Anand is also corona positive. Yesterday's report has come, so he is positive. वो घर पे ही रहते थे फिर भी उनको हो गया. That is third wave. थर्ड वेव में होता क्या है कि इट इज कम्युनिटी स्प्रेड. कम्युनिटी स्प्रेड टाइप 2 देख लिया आप लोगों ने, स्टेज 2 देख लिया. अभी कम्युनिटी स्प्रेड से भी आगे चला गया. इट इज इन द एयर नाउ एंड दैट इज थर्ड वेव. आप घर में भी बैठे रहोगे, घर में अपने खिड़कियां खुली रखिए, वेंटिलेशन हो रहा है, उसके साथ वो वायरस के कुछ ये आ गए हैं और आपने उनको इनहेल किया एंड यू गेट द कोरोना वायरस एंड यू बिकम पॉजिटिव, राइट. सो प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड, this is third wave which has started in India and it is most dangerous. आपको जो न्यूज में फिगर दिखाए जा रहे हैं शायद वो भी करेक्ट फिगर है या नहीं है, nobody knows. वो शायद काफी कम फिगर्स हैं. नंबर ऑफ डेथ्स आर वेरी हाई. Many of my friend family members have expired. कुछ हमारे फ्रेंड्स भी एक्सपायर हो चुके हैं. जो हमारे स्कूल के ग्रुप है उसमें भी रोज एक न्यूज आती है, सो एंड सो हैज एक्सपायर्ड. हमारा जो फैकल्टी का ग्रुप है उसमें अभी न्यूज आना शुरू हो गया है, कल ही डॉक्टर आपटे ही हैज एक्सपायर्ड. सो ऐसे बुरी न्यूज आ रही है. आई डोंट वांट टू डिस्कस दिस इन द मॉर्निंग, बट देन आई जस्ट मेक आई वांट टू वार्न यू ऑल, प्लीज डू नॉट गो आउटसाइड. जो भी है घर पे बैठ के काम कीजिए. इनकेस आपको जॉब पे जाना ही पड़ रहा है तो प्लीज स्टे सेफ. किसी के कांटेक्ट में आने की मत कोशिश कीजिए. जहाँ पे भीड़ रहेगी वहां पे आपने रुकना ही नहीं है. मॉर्निंग में जब शॉप्स ओपन होते हैं जल्दी से अपना जो भी चीजें खरीद लीजिए एंड कम होम. घर में आने के बाद रिमूव योर क्लोथ्स, टेक बाथ and wash your clothes immediately. कुछ भी आपने नहीं छोड़ना है, because आपकी वजह से आपके family members को भी वो हो सकता है, and it is really dangerous for senior citizens now. हमारे जो मॉम डैड्स हैं उनके लिए बहुत ही ज्यादा डेंजरस है. Within 2 days this person finishes. Within 2 days इतना डेंजरस वो म्यूटेंट हो चुका है. So अपना ख्याल रखिए. Right? Yes. Anything else you want to say here? This is an open platform. आपको कोई न्यूज मिली है, आपको कुछ अच्छी चीज शेयर करनी है, वो भी आप लोग यहाँ पे शेयर कर सकते हैं, because we have 2 or 3 minutes for that. Yes, anyone wants to discuss anything, wants to share anything? I hope all of our students are safe. आपका जो पैरेलल ग्रुप है उसमें कोई बुरी न्यूज तो नहीं है, सब लोग सेफ है. Yes,
Yes,
there are 2-3 students those who are positive, but then they are safe. वो फर्स्ट स्टेज पे ही है, इसीलिए वो अच्छे हैं. सो वो भी बहुत जल्दी रिकवर हो जाएंगे या हो भी चुके होंगे अभी तक. बट आई होप देयर आर नो बैड न्यूज. फाइन. सो इफ यू परमिट, shall we say this session is over?
yes, sir.
Yeah. Fine.
Thank you.
All of you, please take care.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Have a good day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.